Tá fáilte roimh ilah hiag an gogol táhachtach Shahanu. You're very welcome back to this very important conference here today. My name is Katherine Licken. I'm Secretary General at the Department of Culture, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, and it is indeed a great delight to be here with you this morning. Before we commence, may I ask you, number one, put your phones on silent, and can I please ask you now to be upstanding for the arrival of An Tuachtaráin Michael D. Higgins, who has honoured us with his presence here today, not just to listen to the speakers, but also to speak to us today. An Tuachtaráin tá fáilte romhat an seacht an ócáid speisialta seo. We are very, very honoured to have you here today at this conference. This is, of course, day 2 of the conference, which I understand from talking to people here this morning and last night has gone exceptionally well so far, and I think we will follow that trend today. And just as an anecdote, I think on social media yesterday, the conference was trending right across social platforms ahead of the Euro Million winner, lotto winner. And so what that tells me is that in Ireland, perhaps people actually do care more about nature than they do about money. So we hope to continue that and hope to build on that today. So I'd like to firstly extend a very warm welcome to our most eminent guest speakers here today. Today is a very, very special day. Our first speaker, Inger Andersen, who's director of IUCN. And Inger has just been, as of last night, I understand, elected to the post of Executive Director of the United Nations Environmental Programme. This is one of the most important offices for the environment in the world, making your presence with us here today, Inger, all the more special and all the more significant. And can we actually give a round of applause to Inger? Thank you so much, Inger, and we really very much look forward to hearing what you have to say to us very shortly. Secondly, today we have Umberto Delgado Rosa, who's Head of Natural Capital and Nature in the European Commission. We, as Europeans, working with the Commission, through our directives and our policies as Europeans, have shaped and driven the nature conservation landscape within Europe and further afield for the last 40 years. The interaction between Umberto's team in Brussels and his colleagues in directorates such as DG Environment, DG Agri and DG Mare are crucial to our work, and we very much welcome you here today, Umberto, and thank you for coming. Ingers and Umberto will give us an overview from a global and European perspective on the state of nature and the policies that underpin it. In particular, they are going to highlight the changes that we need to make in order to achieve real progress. We are also going to get perspectives today on biodiversity and the Sustainable Development Goals from Michael Ewing, who is head of the Irish Environmental Pillar. And we will have a reflection on the new horizon for nature from Tara Shine. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, later this morning we will have, or this morning, not later, we will have the honour of an address from An Tuachtaráin Michael D. Higgins. I would also like to welcome Helen Anderson and her colleagues from Northern Ireland, with whom we are in frequent contact. We are very aware of the need for us to work even closer together in these uncertain times. And I would just like to add, from a gender perspective, we have done our bit today to make sure that 43% of our speakers today are women, and I'm very pleased to see that. When I took the job of Secretary General, I was very heartened to see the scale and scope of the work that we were doing in Ireland around nature. But at the same time, I know, and we all know, that still much more needs to be done. Our overall aspiration is to make Ireland a better place for people and a better place for nature, and to do that together. And to do this, we need to protect, enhance, and celebrate nature. We are all aware in this room about the challenges that face us and the benefits of a healthy environment. We need to keep biodiversity high on the agenda and at the same time work effectively with our partners in government on closely related matters, particularly climate, sustainable development and water. We intend in the department to set up a climate action programme. And in this, we are going to be working very closely with those key government ministries, and in particular, the policymakers for agriculture, forestry and fisheries. As Ireland's population grows and society changes, we need to consider further how we protect nature. As individuals and as society, we can bring about great changes to the landscape we live in, but we can also choose to protect and enhance it, and the two are not mutually exclusively. We can pride ourselves in our national parks and our nature reserves. They are of huge importance, both as preserves for nature and as contributors to the economic life in Ireland, and particularly in rural Ireland. Minister Madigan, who opened the conference yesterday, noted how much work is going on. For example, the huge challenge around protecting and restoring our midland bogs, the work we do to look after endangered species such as the pearl mussel, the corncrake and the curlew. We also use the EU LIFE programme to fund targeted projects which have been a great success in some of the most beautiful parts and unspoiled parts of our country, them being the Aran Islands, Kerry and of course the Burren. And we also support NGOs in conservation projects and citizen science. This conference was inspired by the need to engage with each other and to energise ourselves for the many tasks that lie ahead. I am delighted that so many people have come together for these 2 days to contribute to this important discussion. We are going to take careful note of what people are saying, and you are saying a lot, I understand already. And this evening we will have the announcement of the seeds for nature that have emerged yesterday and today. And one of those seeds, led by our department, will of course be a communication strategy around nature. I do like the idea of a love nature type campaign where we actually empower people to the theme of loving nature and loving those directives and loving those things that we do to protect nature and supporting and standing behind them. So the outcome of this conference is also going to feed into Heritage 2030, which is going to be a new heritage strategy for Ireland, and we're currently right in the middle of the public consultation on that heritage strategy, so the conference is very timely in that regard. So without further ado, I want to wish you all a very successful day. I give you my full assurance that I and my team in the department will do everything we can to use the impetus from this conference to provide new horizons for nature. Gur míle maith, and without further ado, I'll ask Inger to come forward and speak with us. Thank you.